As you guys know, we're in tough times right now. And there's a lot of people that I know, and I'm sure a lot of people that you know, and you might even be this person, where just naturally you kind of feel broke. You feel like you have no money. You feel like you're not in control of your finances. And I want to make a video letting you guys know that I believe there's 9 steps that you can follow right now, starting today after this video. That if you can do these steps for the next 90 days, you can completely change your financial future. You can turn your finances around, get back in control of your financial foundation, and really start building something you're proud of. So let's follow these steps here. Let's go over the 9 steps that I believe can really put you in line here. If you're able to follow these, even imperfectly, you will notice that you are completely different when it comes to your finances. So let's get into it. So for step 1, when it comes to getting in control of your finances, especially if you're feeling broke right now, is you need to freeze your lifestyle for the next 30 days. And this is obviously going to be the least fun step out of all these steps. And this is going to be the one that a lot of people push back on, but it works better than anything else. For the next 30 days, all you need to do is put your entire lifestyle on pause. And not forever, just long enough to get a nice little reset. So what this means no new subscription services, no impulse Amazon purchases, no treating yourself to spending and splurging if you had a long day at work or someone pissed you off, no random upgrades, no extra nights out. Think of it like giving your money a clean slate. Most people have no idea how much of their paycheck disappears into just easy, everyday spending. The small stuff that doesn't hurt individually, you guys know, that slowly drains you until you're wondering where your money went. And a lifestyle freeze will force you to actually see your habits. And when you stop adding meaningless expenses, the dust kind of settles. And then suddenly the numbers start making sense, right? You'll start seeing where the leaks are. You'll start seeing certain trends when it comes to your spending. And you understand what you're actually spending your money on. And more importantly, you'll prove to yourself that not only can you control your financial life, but you can control your lifestyle and the money that bleeds out of that. And it's only for 30 days. So you're not punishing yourself. You're just interrupting the cycle to get a clear picture of it. So for step number 2, right, after we freeze our lifestyle for 30 days, the next step is to track every dollar you spend, but keep it simple so you actually stick to it. So don't worry about making spreadsheets. Don't worry about, color coding certain expenses. Don't worry about downloading a budgeting software with a subscription. Literally, just take a pen and paper or the Notes app on your phone, whatever is the easiest for you to actually do, and write down every single thing you spend money on. And this can be food, gas, groceries, literally anything. Write it down. It literally takes 10 seconds. And this is not about judging yourself. It's not about being strict. All you're doing by tracking every dollar is you create awareness, right? So when you start tracking your spending, you start noticing things like, wow, I just spent $200 on food delivery this month. Or, wow, I didn't even notice I had 7 subscriptions that I paid for. Or, why do I always have the most money on Fridays and then it disappears on Saturdays? By tracking your spending, by tracking every single dollar, it is the easiest way to figure out where your money goes. I'm sure you feel this way, or I'm sure you know people who feel this way, but a lot of people feel broke because they say their money, quote unquote, just disappears, right? Like magically it's gone, but it's not. It gets spent. And we need to know where it goes. So tracking it brings your money into your line of sight. And the crazy part is you'll naturally spend less money by just being aware. It's like the minute your brain knows that you are actively tracking where your money's going, at that point, you're going to want to spend less because you're going to be more aware, and it's going to lead you subconsciously into making smarter money decisions. So awareness alone, just that little portion alone can save you $200 to $500 a month, literally without changing anything else. So after we follow step 1 and 2, the next step is to build a 90-day bare bones budget. And this is not a forever budget. This budget doesn't need to be perfect, doesn't need to have bells and whistles. This is simply a reset budget, right? This budget needs to prioritize survival and momentum over comfort. So this is how you're going to build this budget. You're going to start with your monthly income, and then you're going to subtract only the essentials. So you're only going to subtract rent, food, transportation, your phone, and your utilities. That's it. Whatever's left, That's going to be your quote unquote free spending money. And for the next 90 days, you're going to have to give yourself a controlled amount of money each week. So this is the part where it gets a little bit hard, but the truth is most people don't need to make more money immediately. They just need to get rid of the unnecessary spending that's going on a weekly basis. By simply creating a bare bones budget like this, taking your monthly income and subtracting only the essentials, you're going to automatically start cutting out the unnecessary stuff. And that right there is going to free a lot of your money up pretty much instantly. So a bare bones budget's going to cut a lot of the noise out. And if you can literally follow this for 3 months, a simple budget like this, you're putting your finances on rails so you can focus on rebuilding that true foundation. And it's not constantly, reaching. You're not going to be guessing anything. You're not going to be stressing about anything because you're going to have this simple, bare bones budget to follow. Now, step number 4 is going to be picking one income booster and stick with it. And this is where a lot of people start to stretch themselves too thin, because when people start to think about making money, especially in this hustle culture that we live in, a lot of people start thinking, okay, like I'm going to do DoorDash at night. I'm going to flip stuff on Marketplace. I'm going to learn coding. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. And then they burn out in 2 weeks and literally quit everything and have made no progress. So here's my rule. Pick one side hustle or one income booster and commit to it for the entire 90 days, even if it's going great or even if it's going not so great. Literally just pick one and stick to it. So I'm going to give you guys some realistic options in 2025 and 2026 to do this. You can do delivery still. You can do freelancing if your skills apply to it. You can definitely sell stuff, unused stuff on Marketplace around your house, or go to garage sales and try to flip them. And that leads into flipping furniture, electronics. People still need pet sitters or dog walkers, and potentially one extra weekend shift at your current job, or picking up a small little part-time job that's potentially looking for a weekend shift. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is consistency and sticking to just one, so you can literally attack it with all of you rather than stretching yourself out too thin. And for those 90 days, you're not trying to find the perfect side hustle so you can make a YouTube video and post it. You're literally focusing on building income discipline. One lane, one focus, one skill, one stream of income. Most people would really be shocked about how much money they can make in 90 days if they stopped starting over every 2 weeks with a new side hustle or a new form of income. And for step number 5, you're going to create your first gap. The entire purpose of these steps is to create a gap between what you earn and what you spend. And that gap is everything. When you're broke, the biggest pain isn't the amount of money. It's the lack of margin. There's no breathing room. There's no buffer, and there's really no safety net. And that's why when a lot of people are broke, they're very anxious and stressed about their finances. Once you create a small gap, even if it's $50 to $100 a week or a month, literally whatever it is, you immediately feel more in control. And that gap is where your life changes. That gap is how you build savings. That gap is how you build an emergency fund. That gap is how you start investing your money for the first time. And once you create that gap intentionally, you get hooked. You start realizing, wait, I can actually move forward. I'm not stuck with my finances. I can actually build a financial foundation. And that shift alone can truly change your financial identity. So once we're on top of this budget, once we're on top of tracking our finances, start cutting things out and create that first gap. Even if you can only create a $10 gap between what's coming in and what's coming out, that's good enough to start saving and investing. So for the next step, you need to identify and eliminate your biggest leaks. And this is going to come from that budget and tracking your finances. By now, once you've tracked your spending and you've lived on a simpler budget, you'll start noticing that most people don't have 50 leaks. They have 2 to 3 major ones. And for a lot of people, this can be going out every weekend, food delivery, car payments, subscriptions, emotional shopping, random Amazon spending, or potentially even bad habits like drinks, vaping, or small, little dopamine purchases. When you know where your leaks are, you can fix them permanently. And this is where another big financial life shift comes from, because now you know exactly where you've been stuck and how to stop staying stuck. So once you identify those big leaks, you need to immediately attack them. So if this is food delivery, try to cook at home more. If this is going out every weekend, try to have fun at home on Friday or Saturdays, or maybe invite your friends over to your house and do something at your house. If this is emotional shopping, try to limit it as much as you can. Eliminating those leaks as fast as you can is going to be some of the quickest return on investment you'll see, because by doing this, you're going to be instantly putting money back into your pocket. So for the next step, once we have our budget in place, once we're, are eliminating those leaks, we're, increasing our income, and we're starting to really get a picture of where our money's going, we need to save our first $1,000 as fast as we can, because this $1,000 is going to be your first major milestone. And no, I'm not saying 100,000. I'm not saying financial freedom. Just literally $1,000 in a savings account where you feel comfortable enough to not touch it. This is going to be kind of your nothing can break me money, right? So if a random bill comes up, it's covered. If a car repair comes up, this is covered. Your phone breaks, this is covered. Most people have never seen $1,000 saved at one time, especially in an account where they feel comfortable enough to not touch it and leave it there as an emergency savings. And when you have that, it truly changes your financial outlook. If you've never had that before, this will be something that once you hit this goal, it's going to completely change how you look at money. And if you already have that, I'm sure when you hit this goal for your first time, you felt the same way. So you'll literally walk differently when you have $1,000 saved. You think differently, and you make decisions from stability instead of fear. So once you hit that number, you're going to want to naturally keep going. And that leads me into the next step here is we're going to stack that $1,000 to $2,500 to $5,000 and then to $10,000. But there is a caveat with this. So this is where kind of that 90 days turns into long-term confidence. After you hit $1,000, your next financial milestones are going to be $2,500, $5,000, and $10,000. But where my caveat comes in at is if you are living at home right now and you maybe don't need $10,000 sitting in the bank, use the extra money, maybe hit 25 or 5,000, and then after 5,000, start using that money to pay off high interest debt. So for example, if you don't need $10,000 in the bank as an emergency fund, but you have a credit card with $2,000 on it that's charging you 30% interest, maybe once you hit $2,500, start attacking that credit card. Or once you hit $5,000, start paying off that credit card more. At this point, this is where you can start to get a little creative and start to tailor, these 90 days and this long-term budget towards yourself. You can start making your own decisions as far as how much money you want in an emergency account and how much money you want to start using to pay off certain debts. And maybe you don't have any high interest debt and your true goal will be to take that $1,000 and work it into $10,000. In my opinion, once you hit $10,000, once you hit that first 5-digit number in an emergency savings account, that's where you stop feeling fragile with your money. You stop feeling like you're one emergency away from financial sabotage. You stop making emotional decisions because your bank account isn't screaming at you. And I promise you, if you are able to follow the steps that we've already talked about in this video, getting to $2,500, getting to $5,000, getting to $10,000 is possible. These are the exact same ways that I started building my first emergency fund, and I guarantee you it's the same way that a lot of people have started by following these certain steps. So once we hit, that $1,000 goal, we want to stack it into more, or we want to stack it to a comfortable amount and then start paying off high interest debt. And most people will never reach these milestones because they won't commit to it for those first 90 days. They won't lock in for 90 days and actually try to reach these goals. But once you get the momentum, saving becomes addictive. After all of these steps, my last step for you guys is to start investing, even if it's tiny amounts of money. I'm a huge advocate of investing even $5 a day. It does not matter. Now we're going to take everything you've built, the gap, the tracking, the structure, and we turn it into growth. We need our money to start working for us. And the moment you start investing, look, I'm telling you, even if it's $20 a month, your entire financial identity will change. You go from, money flows out of my life to now my money's working for me. Now I have control over what my money is doing for me. And the goal is not to beat the stock market. It's not to start day trading. It's not to find small cap cryptocurrencies and, turn your $100 into $5 million. That's not what you need to do. It's simply to become someone who invests consistently, usually into something simple like the S&P 500 or the total market index fund, and let the money do its thing. That habit alone will separate you from the majority of people who are struggling financially. And investing is not about being rich. It's not about getting rich overnight. It's about building a future where you're not stuck. So if you're broke right now, or you feel broke right now and you're watching this video, if you follow these steps, even imperfectly, the person you'll be in 90 days from now will feel completely different from the person you are today. You're going to think more clearly, you're going to feel more stable, and you're going to finally believe that you're capable of building real financial momentum. And being broke is not a personality trait. It's not something that's stuck to you. It's not something that you're meant to deal with. You can get out of this, and systems can be rebuilt. So the next 90 days, if you're feeling broke or you're feeling insecure with your money, while they're probably not going to make you rich overnight, they will change your financial direction. And the direction you move matters more than the speed. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys got value from this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good day.